Okay, so today we're going to do basically a targeting exercise. This is something that is really just a game to play with your dog, and I like it because it gives me the opportunity to teach my dog how to target things with his nose and his paws. And ultimately what that does is it acts as a tool that I can leverage to teach him how to do much more complex things, like for instance putting his paws up on a wall, a spread 'em command if you will. I can also use it to teach him how to turn light switches on and off. It's valuable if you're training a service dog. There's really just a endless number of things. A couple of tools that I'm using here to start with. I've got my trusty little clicker. The clicker is optional, you don't need it, you can use your voice. Really all you want to do is just have some sort of marking tool. And so what that is just a very unique sound that essentially acts to capture that moment in the dog's mind, essentially to identify or to mark when they're doing something correctly. And so of course that's a conditioned reinforcer. And what that means is our primary reinforcer is the reward. I'm using food. You could use anything though. You could use a tennis ball. I just like food because it's easier to kind of keep that reward system going, whereas a tennis ball, you give it to the dog, maybe you play with them for a second or two, and then you've got to take it back and start again. It's a little bit more interruptive. Food is a little bit more lends itself better to the situation. I don't believe has done much clicker training. He's done a little bit, but realistically none. So I'm going to begin. He knows I've got food. He's not an idiot. So that's a good first step. What I'm going to be doing here is basically just clicking and treating him to effectively charge my clicker. And so that's going to start developing that association. You can do this while you're teaching. It's not necessary to do it outside of teaching. It just depends on your dog's reaction to the sound. So I'm going to test him right now, just to make sure he's not bothered by the sound of the clicker. I'm going to click here while he's nibbling on this treat. And if there's no aversive reaction, then we're good to go to the next step. If he's startled by that clicker sound or something of that nature, then what I would do is spend a little more time doing exactly this. Kind of getting his attention with the food, maybe muting the clicker by bringing it away from him as I click and treat. So charging my clicker basically just involves, once again, giving him a treat and clicking simultaneously. Good job, you can break. I like him to be as free as possible when we're doing exercises like targeting, so that he's willing to experiment, and that's going to be one of the keys to success here. Good job, Shepherd. Good boy. Now here's a good opportunity. When he does get distracted by something, let's say there's a smell on the ground or a noise outside or whatever happens, what I want to be able to do is kind of time my click at that instant that I know his attention is going to break off of the distraction and back onto me. So effectively what we're going to be doing, there we go, he's distracted. Good job, buddy. Is I'm going to click at the moment I know he's breaking his attention off the distraction, and if need be, kind of lock that in by stuffing that food in front of him and basically giving him success. Good job, Shepherd. Again, this is just the foundation steps of training with a clicker. If I'm not using a clicker, if I'm using my voice, then I use my marking word, whatever it is. It could be yes, for example. Yes! And I'm going to reward him again and mark that with the audio cue.